Semi-final and final predictions of the Euros, Copa America, transfers. We're going to dive into all these topics here with a top view with Breton. How are you doing, my guy?
I think I'm still getting over the shock, the exit, the existential agony.
In Portugal.
The what comes next. We're in Portugal. I'm on my last day here in Portugal, so while I'm happy to be here, I'm also sad to be leaving.
Aww.
I am excited that we are able to go through all this because, yes, the Euros did not disappoint. Copa America has not disappointed in energy. A lot of fouls, a lot of craziness.
Aggressive.
But we've had an upset. We'll talk about that. And then, yes, silly season is picking up. So I guess we want to start with
our final predictions of Euro 2024.
There it is.
We know it's going to be Netherlands, England, and France, Spain. I think it's unanimous between us. Spain is the team that played the best football in Euro 2024.
Yep.
Now, it's a fact, since you see the semi-finalists, it hasn't been France,
Nope.
it hasn't been England, and it
Nope.
hasn't been the Netherlands.
Nope.
So Luis de la Fuente, big credit to him because Lamine Yamal, Breton, this is mad.
It is.
Lamine Yamal can be the player of the tournament in Euro 2024.
16.
3 assists. And he had the touch of Messi when he was a baby.
Yeah,
that has been leaked.
Weak-footed cross. Oh, yeah. First off, I
mad.
thought that was a
thought that was AI.
fabrication. It had to be a fabrication, right? But no, apparently it's been verified that picture is actually, if you haven't seen it yet, it's literally as if Leo Messi is cradling him in his arms. It's insane. But Lamine Yamal with a textbook cross, something that's actually become a staple of his, something that, shockingly, while he's improving everywhere, that has been a major improvement for Lamine Yamal from the beginning of the season to now. And yes.
Physical. When he's celebrating, you're seeing the arms he has now. It's like, this guy's 16 again. Again.
But man, oh man. I mean, he's currently fourth, I believe, and will likely lead the Euros in chances created by the end of the tournament, mainly because the guys in front of him are already out. Toni Kroos. We're talking about how many years between Toni Kroos and Lamine Yamal?
34.
18 years.
Exactly.
A whole lifetime for him. And more, right? And here he is with the big dogs, leading the way, chances created. It's unreal. I know that during the season, I was a little hard, I guess you could say, on Barcelona for leaning on a 16-year-old, but this isn't just any 16-year-old. I'm getting that. It took me a while. We knew it back then. We knew it back when we were talking about this with Barcelona. But it is unreal that the fearlessness, this is the tournament. The Euro 2024 is the tournament of the Wonder Kid because between Lamine Yamal, between Arda Güler, between Nico Williams, even Jude Bellingham, who hasn't had a great tournament, we need to remember his age. We need to remember the leadership he's showing for England. We need to remember what the massive goal he has scored for them.
The German boys.
Jamal Musiala is still up there. Wirtz with a very important assist, if I'm not mistaken.
Francisco Conceição with Portugal.
Yep, Chico was
Nuno Mendes,
great.
the best left back.
Exactly.
Cucurella.
This is the tournament of the Wonder Kid, and it might be recency bias. I would need to go back and look at other editions of the Euros, but I can't think of 2004 maybe, right? When you had Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo coming onto the scene. But this is unreal. So before we get any further than that, I got to say that.
It's well stated.
Woo.
Very well stated since we're FC Wonder Kid.
Yes.
And comment down below who has been the best Wonder Kid in your opinion. I'm going to say Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
You'll say?
I mean, I have to say Lamine Yamal, too. I have to say Lamine Yamal. We talked about Turkey. We talked about Serbia being the teams that always kind of break our hearts.
No more.
Right? We go into it. Turkey, I should say. I'm sorry. No more. And you know why?
Because of Arda Güler. And Kadioglu,
Yep.
that can be said
Very
one
true.
of the best left backs in the competition too. But what I got to say, last thing on Lamine Yamal.
Yes.
Rodri has been amazing too. Rodri showing to the world that he's the best defensive mid in the world. Pedri comes out. Dani Olmo comes in. No difference as it seemed to. Dani Olmo had a great output in that game. And just shows that Spain totally deserves to win the Euros.
They
because when we played Georgia with our substitutes, Portugal, we lost that game badly. When they played their substitutes, they still won with Albania.
Yeah.
That deserves to be stated. It's a well-tuned group. Fabian Ruiz is a better player. Rodri, fits the system very well. Nico Williams is playing fantastic. Lamin's playing fantastic. Cucurella and Carvajal are having an amazing output. And this is Luis de la Fuente's doing.
Yeah.
What a manager. We're seeing the biggest winners of Lamine Yamal being a baller in Euro 2024 is La Liga.
No, it's
because
true.
La Liga now can say, next season, Mbappe Real, Galacticos Real, and Barca with Lamine Yamal. A player, the next season, this could be bold for some people, but imagine if Lamine Yamal is in the contention of the Ballon d'Or next season.
Oh, my gosh.
That's mad.
16 years.
That's mad if that will be the case. Barca will have to go bold with Hansi Flick in the Champions League for that to happen.
I'm going to have to say, if we're on the Ballon d'Or conversation and potentially a then 17-year-old being in the running for it, I think we also have to have the conversation about whether or not Rodri.
True.
Because as of right now, I'm stating this, it's really not that much of a shock, considering how much you and I have enjoyed talking about the Spanish national team, the rise of them. They're very clearly playing the best football.
True.
Right? Most attractive, very defensively sound. Getting a lot of these guys to play so much better for the national team than what they do currently for their club team. It's the complete opposite for a team like England, right? And whether that's the manager or whether that's just the atmosphere, the muscle memory of, we need to remember what we're doing with Spain. It is the blend of great veterans with this young average age of 18 on either side,
just
Nico Williams, and Lamine Yamal, with their bookending a guy like Alvaro Morata, who has been there before, who has seen it all. But we need to go back. We need to have the discussion that, if Spain wins this, if they win the whole thing, which I'm declaring them the favorite candidate right now, if Spain wins this, we need to have the conversation about Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or.
Well
and
stated.
Me getting this fly off my ear, too.
And Lamine winning the Golden Boy 100%. No doubt at the end of this tournament, with Spain winning Euro 2024. So Spain against France. France, a team that has, well, I'm bitter, obviously, with France. And I'm going to pick Spain to beat France. But France are in the semifinals of Euro 2024 with 0 goals. 0 goals from open play. That is mad what we're seeing. The tournament, I think Euro 2024 hasn't been too exciting for me as a fan. I think the last Euros has been much more exciting to watch because France, England, Portugal were in better in form, at least playing more attractive football right now. But France, I cannot pick France with what I saw against Portugal. You see Spain, they're confidently beating a Georgia. They're confidently beating everyone. France, Portugal, England, not the case, so I'm not going to say France beats Spain. My pick is for Spain to beat France. I'd say 3-0 or 2-0. A statement win with Lamine Yamal going bold and PSG saying we got to pay not 250, not 300. It has to go to 1 billion. I'm joking.
One day those numbers will actually come into play, I'm sure. But we've been having the conversation of Cristiano Ronaldo, the focus on Cristiano Ronaldo. We had the conversation of maybe Jude Bellingham not having a great Euros or a Harry Kane not having a great Euros. I think we actually have to have the conversation, and a lot of it comes down to the injury, that Kylian Mbappe has not had a good tournament. Period.
Because
very
of the
clearly,
injury.
right? Probably because of the injury. He still does very, very well in terms of taking men on. Obviously, without one game in his back pocket, he's still up there in dribbles completed. Obviously, France has been here before. England has been here before, which we'll talk about in a second. Exactly. So you can't count them out. But based on positive football, Spain over France makes the most sense. Here's what keeps them in the running.
The defense.
Yep. They are
only one
Upamecano. Yep. William Saliba, right? Mike Maignan, who had a wonderful, wonderful game, sadly, against Portugal. N'Golo Kante, Who would have thought? Chouameni. It has been a wonderful defensive performance from Les Bleus, and you have to give them credit for that. Even if it isn't the style of football. Antoine Griezmann taking a nap. Right? Olivier Giroud, we thought would be a part of this whole conversation.
Dembélé,
hasn't been a part.
Undeserved man of the match.
In my opinion, also, undeserved. I would agree.
It had to be Nunes Mendes the man of the match.
It's true.
So France, days.
But then you get one of those captivity pictures, right, where you get the player of the match trophy on the losing team, Luka Modric, after they were, and it looks like he's a prisoner. But listen, it has been a very incredibly disappointing tournament for France overall. Yet here they are, 1 win away from the final. And you can say that about another team. So in the end, Spain beats France just for the sake of positive football.
I
have to say it. We need that clarity. We need positive football to win.
And in this game, we will have not the answer, but N'Golo Kante versus Fabian Ruiz, best midfielder of year 2024. That's the conversation to have right now.
It is.
Okay, Rodri, obviously. Rodri's amazing too, but Fabian Ruiz has been the real ascension in this competition. So if they beat France in extraordinary fashion, that too has to be said. And last Euro, we won't see any more Toni Kroos. Okay, I gotta say it's the end of Toni Kroos's career. It's sad that we're not going to see any more. But Adidas, great move by the A11 Pros, or now TK Pros. Toni Kroos Pros. So they changed the name of an iconic boots for an iconic legend that completely deserves it. Well done, Adidas, to one of the best midfielders in the world doing this creditation.
That's amazing. Well, one last little nugget before we move on to the next semifinal.
Yes.
That Mikel Merino goal.
Oh, yes.
Okay, anyone that's been following him through, we've had high hopes for him, some injuries here and there. We remember him at Newcastle, but at Real Sociedad, he's been good, if not injured quite a bit. It's great to see him get a goal like that. But the biggest thing I wanted to bring up here was that he did the celebration of his dad scoring at that same ground, if I'm not mistaken, back in like 1991. And he did that where he ducks around the corner flag. These flies are attacking me. He ducks around the corner flag, and he simply pays homage to his own father scoring a goal in that same exact arena, which is just really, come on, that gives you the feels. It gives you the feels.
Beautiful. So our predictions are for Spain to win.
Yes.
I'll go 2-0. You'll go?
Ooh, wow, 2-0.
2-0.
I got to say Mbappe gets on the score sheet. I'll say 2-1. I'll say 2-1.
France is not scoring goals, so
I know.
from open play, they won't score. Let's see.
Oh, my gosh.
But England, Netherlands. We have a lot to say about England, okay? Jude Bellingham, even though Jude Bellingham's not having the best of tournaments, there's a real chance if England win Euro 2024 that I don't think it will happen, but if they do, he's the player of the tournament, Jude Bellingham. And the Ballon d'Or winner. Bellingham and England win Euro 2024. That's it. Champions League winner, best player in La Liga, Euro 2024, the catalyst to win the competition, because they wouldn't be there without that historic bicycle kick goal against Slovakia.
Yeah,
Mad.
That's 100% true. And we do need to go back and remember how old he is, right? Or how old he isn't. This is not a man who's been this is his first. Is it his first year? No, it's his second Euros, but his first real position. Yeah, and his position as a leader. Obviously, I know there's a whole lot of controversy out there in terms of his suspended one-game sentence and all that, and Demiral, which we don't need to get into the political connotations of that. But listen, England versus Switzerland, just like Austria before them. Austria played better. Switzerland in this game, in my opinion, played better football. Doesn't matter. England finds a way to get it done. If you're going to credit, I guess I'm crediting the players for it, not Southgate in this instance. If you're going to fail upwards, which they're doing, they do it with regularity.
True.
They do it with alarming regularity. I just think you're almost having this internal battle of English fans where it's, do we want to play good football? Or do we want to play football that gets you the results? And Gareth Southgate only knows one way to get results. Grind it out, man.
Defensively.
Grind it out, right? And it was wonderful to see Bukayo Saka get his actual voice into the conversation, have a moment where he was able to make a massive, massive impact. I'm not going to say it's undeserved, because Switzerland did not take their chances well when it was given to them. But when Breel Embolo scored that goal, I was about to think, man, I think the can might open up and we might see a 3-1 win. And a 3-0 win, but it didn't happen. They stuck in it. I think Jordan Pickford, that English defense, I think Bukayo Saka, and all those guys that stepped up to take the penalties deserve a hell of a lot of credit for doing that, because it wasn't the normal dudes stepping up, right? I mean, Harry Kane, still relatively anonymous in this tournament. I know it's weird to say 2 goals is anonymous in this tournament, but it feels weird.
And it's a fact that Ivan Toney is a better penalty taker than Harry Kane.
Yeah.
If you play football, you know how difficult it is to do a penalty looking at the keeper until the end.
Yeah.
That is mad. Like, just 2 touches he did. And he scored that pen still. But one thing's for sure with the penalties.
Yes.
Cole Palmer will be the first penalty taker for England in the next 10 years when he's playing on the pitch. No doubt. That man is very
First on
cold.
the pen sheet.
Best player at Chelsea, one of the best players in the Premier League. And it's beautiful to see a player with this amount of confidence in a team that, let's be honest, if you're not Jude Bellingham, you're not that mega confident. And Cole Palmer has just that. But yes, England manager Southgate's record, it's of 100 games, 61 wins, 23 draws, 16 losses. It's not a bad record, but you want to see trophy.
Well,
because England has the best league in the world and the expectations to win it all. It has to happen, Bretson. Southgate leaves.
Yeah.
Southgate leaves England.
Yeah.
At the end of this tournament.
I think whether they win or not, I think he still leaves. Yes, I do. And I'm gonna. This might be a little too straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
It's dull. It's dull. I mean, I was half asleep watching that England game, and you know, I watch Premier League. I watch these individual players. We mentioned it previously, how at least Luis de la Fuente has figured out how to get them to play better than they have for their respective clubs, and some of them are upping their game when they were that primo with their clubs.
Luis de la Fuente and Southgate were both under 21 managers of England and Spain.
Well, yeah.
And de la Fuente still plays with that same style of play.
So next boss, Lee Carsley for England, I guess.
But most well-paid manager in the Euros.
Yeah, but the thing is where is the razor sharpness of these players to put these teams out of their misery, if England is so much better, to put them out of their misery before regulation ends? Completely. I think they have one regulation win in like the last 6 or something. I don't fully know what it is, but like Slovenia goes out not losing a game, right? Period. They just lose on penalties. So I think Jordan Pickford deserves a whole lot more credit than he's getting right now, and that in itself will always keep you in the big matches. The dam never broke. That defense never broke, and that's why even though I'm likely going to say Netherlands beats England, that's why I'm pretty sure I'm going to be wrong about that. It's more so a prediction of the heart than a prediction of the gut for me, and I am going to put Netherlands on top, which we'll talk about in a second.
I'll put England.
You're going to put England?
I'm going to put England. Jude Bellingham taking over, and Harry Kane will have to look better.
He will.
Harry Kane's looked very poor in this tournament, and I'm going to put the blame more on Southgate.
Yeah.
Okay? But Harry Kane, you cannot be playing the same way you play at Bayern, you played at Tottenham. You're playing like a midfielder a lot of the times.
Yeah.
They need a target man. Foden, Bellingham, Cole Palmer, Saka. They need to cross to someone, not to Harry Kane in the midfield. So many times he was out of position for a striker, an English striker. So if you got to sub them off, Southgate, that's my main criticism.
Hey, but you've gotten your wish this tournament. Mainu.
Kobe Mainu, yes. But Wharton 0 minutes, though.
I know. But yeah.
But they can't get everything, right?
Phil Foden not having an impact really at all. These are worrying things.
True.
But it is also a testament to how deep, how high of a standard there is in England. And I do think that people often lose that. I mean, I know that I would kill to have, in America, to have even 50% of the player pool that England currently has.
And those they didn't call.
And even with Gareth Southgate acting as, I won't call it an anchor, I'll call it a leg weight,
like
right? Just an annoying limp to England. Even with that, they are winning in spite of him. I wish they were playing more attractive football, considering the sum of all parts should equal that. But who knows? Maybe they'll save their best for last.
Who knows, Bretson? In 2026, we're talking about England with Cole Palmer better, Bellingham better, Saka better.
Yes.
We're talking about them as
young
contenders, 100%. With Southgate, without Southgate, there'll be contenders with the players they have.
Next manager's got to be.
Do you agree with us? Let us know. Do you think Southgate will be the manager in this next tournament? And what are your expectations too with England? But Netherlands, Turkey. I'm going to say Turkey has been the most exciting team of the tournament. Yes, they're the second. It's the second country of Turkey, Germany. You could see the amount of Turkish fans that were there, but they got what they deserved because Turkey played fantastic football. It's the first time that Turkey are in a quarterfinal since 2008. They now have a big reference with Arda Güler, and the manager is very good, Vincenzo Montella. So be aware that Turkey will be back to compete in big competitions with Karacaoglu, Arda Güler, and Kenan Yildiz.
It was
no
nice.
Kokshu and Demiral.
Well, it was
they
nice.
would beat Netherlands with those two, maybe.
Yeah, when they needed a goal, they also called upon Semi Kiliksoy. Unfortunately, he was not able to get one, but it was good to see him get his first minutes because he will have a say in the future as well. But we need to remember where Arda Güler is at 20 years old, 19 years old. 19 years old, right? He's at the top of the club game, Real Madrid, Champions League winner, and he is now the definite leader next to Çalhanoğlu, the definite leader of the Turkey national team.
I'd say him. I think he's even obviously Çalhanoğlu is the captain, but Arda Güler, he's got that arrogance that give me the ball.
Fearlessness.
Give me the ball.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that
for
cross.
Sure.
I'm going to do that moment. And yes, he's 19, 1 goal, 2 assists in this competition, 1 man of the match. For me, he's the wonder kid of Euro 2024, and I'd give it to Lamine Yamal if Spain wins the competition, the player of the tournament. It could be both for some people, but let's see what happens. And if England wins, it'll be Jude Bellingham, the player of the tournament. But Arda Güler deserves to be the wonder kid of Euro 2024.
I think you're probably
right.
I mean, yeah, I think
Bruggen?
Lamine Yamal could
Underrated?
not play, and Bart Verbruggen, young goalkeepers at this tournament. Between the issue there with Bart Verbruggen, who by the way made a massive key save for them right before. I think it was either right before or right after the remontada.
Yes.
But it was well done. He has what plagued him early on in his Brighton career when he made the move was some of those errors, some of those inability to get that shot stop, right? Not this time. Not this time. When everything was on the line, he made sure that he was there. So, yes, I think if the Netherlands get through to the final, unfortunately, I think it pushes Georgi Marmarashvili out of the running because here's why he's still in the running. The Georgian goalkeeper at 23 years old, right, had 30 saves. The next best, 15. 30 saves for Georgia. The goals prevented alone has to keep him in the running for this.
Sure.
I wish they could give, another Golden Glove award because he absolutely does deserve it. You're right, Unai Simon has been phenomenal. Jordan Pickford, as I keep saying, and on top of that, Bart Verbruggen deserves to be there, and Mike Maignan. It's not going to be Marmarashvili, but I just have to say his name over and over again because what a tournament he's having in the same vein that Bart Verbruggen is now.
And Diogo
21 years old.
Costa with an iconic game too, but yes, completely.
Hat-trick penalty saves.
Exactly. So I agree with you. This has been a special edition, Euro 2024 of Goalkeepers, Wonder Kids, and I'm excited now for the semifinals and finals.
But let's go all out, please. Let's inject some attacking football into this game, please.
So what's your semifinal on the other end prediction? England, Netherlands, you're going England?
I'm going to go Memphis Depay wakes up, even though there are calls for him never to play a game in an Oranje shirt ever again. I'm going to go Memphis Depay wakes up. He's got a goal. They win in the semifinal, and then it is a final
between
them and Spain win out. Which would be a rematch of, what was that, South Africa? 2010?
Interesting.
Am I right about that? Yeah.
Well, but I'll put Spain in the Spain beats France in my view, and England beats Netherlands. Final England-Spain. I'll go with Lamine Yamal or Jude Bellingham. I'm gonna go with Lamine Yamal, and he sets the player of the tournament. Or Rodri. It's gonna be mad. It's gonna be mad.
Insane.
But let us know your predictions on YouTube. Comment down below. It's a huge help for us. Like this video if you're listening until now. It's a huge help too. And thank you for going bold until now with us. Yes. What have you? Just looking back, there were not these boats when we started.
You live here, man. He lives here. You should see my view of Philadelphia. A lot of buildings. Not a lot of this. But now, enjoy the games.
I'm Portuguese. I've lived here all my life.
Yeah.
Watching this Portugal game against France, you feel it. We're one step away. Did France play better than us? No. Did we play good against Slovenia? No. Did we play good against Georgia? No. Did we play good against Czech Republic? No. But we were in the quarterfinals, and Portugal, we felt like we could have done more, and it's sad sad to see. People can point fingers at Ronaldo, point fingers at Felix. The man who made the decision for Felix to do that pen, that's who is the main fault in my view, okay? I'm not going to put the blame on Ronaldo, Felix, Roberto Martinez. He is the main figure, and he has to be accountable. Roberto Martinez has to be accountable for the fact that in the last 3 games of Portugal, 0 goals scored when we have one of the best offenses ever in our lifetime. It's never happened since 1997, us not scoring in 3 games.
It's like a testament to today's football. I don't know what it is and why all these strong teams insist on playing that way.
But in the Euros, in the qualifying, okay, if it happened in the qualifying, it's qualified. But in the
because you can make a mistake there
exactly.
and still... Yeah.
And this is where you can make mistakes, and they happened. So it's disappointment.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's sad, and we need to do better. My big positive thing on this, Marco Corella is having a phenomenal tournament. I don't care. Nuno Mendes is the best left back in the world, people. Okay, watch next season PSG. Mbappe's not gonna be there. Nuno Mendes, Vitinha, Gonçalo Ramos. This Portuguese core will be there, and will make the difference. Okay, trust me. And Nuno Mendes should have been the man of the match against France. He was the guy. Best penalty in the competition.
It was
best penalty.
It was right after the penalty before that. That was
João Felix miss. Yeah.
No, but who was the penalty? Was it Nico Williams? Whoever it was that roofed it, and it was unsavable. Well, yeah, but you're right. Nuno Mendes. I mean, if there is a silver lining in the tournament, it's that he is back, because I think maybe our listeners. Our watchers don't really know, but he has not been back that long from a long-term injury. It's been a tough go of things for Nuno Mendes. It's great that he's still this young, and very clearly that he's right back on his horse, ready to go. So, yeah, you still should be excited about the things to come from Portugal. It's just what has to happen from here on out in that striker position. And I gotta blatantly ask you, what do you think that next step is? What should Roberto Martinez's next step be? Because he's still part of the conversation, and Roberto Martinez is never going to send Cristiano Ronaldo out of the team sheet, correct? Cristiano Ronaldo is going to have to be the one that says,
I'm not ready for this. Yep. And he won't. He will not say it, because Ronaldo's mentality, we know.
I know.
He's never give up.
It's getting in the way, though, now.
But one thing I'll say now. I've watched Ronaldo play all of my life.
Yeah.
This Euro was the worst international competition I've seen Ronaldo. And I know Ronaldo, self-reflect, he thinks that too 100%. Yeah. 1 assist, no goals, first time no goals. The way we've played has not been towards our strengths. So because of that, I do believe in the World Cup, in future competitions, Nations League, we're going to have Ronaldo not playing every single game. We'll see more of Gonçalo Ramos. People forget, Gonçalo Ramos had a tough season at PSG.
He did.
In terms of, he had problems with, he didn't play like 3 months because of vomiting. He lost like 7 kilos from like December to January, for sure.
Yeah.
So that was a phase there that people were like, where's Gonçalo Ramos? We see Colomani, we see Mbappe. But even though that was the case, per minutes, Gonçalo Ramos is in second in PSG, only behind Kylian Mbappe. So Gonçalo Ramos has the talent to one day be our striker. I believe Gonçalo Ramos can make that happen. He's got that talent. He's in the right team. They need a striker, and he will show up next season for PSG. But Ronaldo, I hope he goes to the World Cup, but I hope he doesn't start in the World Cup. And if he does start, it's because he's madly deserves it, but I don't see it happening right now. And Pep too. Last tournament of Pep for Portugal.
Saw how much it meant to him.
Yeah,
for sure.
41. Pep's the best center back I've seen Portuguese. Ricardo Carvalho, pure eloquence too, but Pep, the sheer passion, quality, talent. That's bromance with Ronaldo. Real bromance. He'll never give up because Ronaldo has been guiding him in his life. I guarantee you, nutrition, physical preparation, Pep emulates what Ronaldo does, and that's why he's still at the highest level at 41.
Yeah, and listen, don't get me wrong for what I've said about Ronaldo. It just feels as if his legacy is getting in the way of the progress that you and the talent and the player pool. Yeah, and he willingly took himself out and brought him back in, and he was very clearly a massive net positive.
Exactly.
And I don't want to say that Cristiano Ronaldo was like a net ridiculously net negative to Portugal, but I feel like it's getting in the way of figuring out how Portugal is going to operate in the future.
True.
And that needs to be figured out for the World Cup.
Completely.
And this was a massive, massive opportunity. No, not for Ronaldo to not take part, but to have that type of a platoon effect, which I know is very, very tough for Ronaldo to do, considering he's been the big dog, the leader for years and years and years. And yes, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to, can Roberto Martinez actually sell that in some capacity to Ronaldo in the future? But also you need to marry that with the fact that there has been no true heir apparent to Cristiano Ronaldo. As Gonzalo Ramos, we all thought that was happening when he scored that hat trick. But progress isn't linear. Right? It doesn't go straight up. So it might still be there. I still think Portugal will go into the 2026 World Cup as a favorite, as one of the favorites. We just need to, we just need to see that progress happen. And the other cap that I've told you about previously, and a lot of it's just that gut reaction, is I feel like Roberto Martinez was never going to be, he's going to wind up being a Southgate to you. And I don't want that to happen. But there's no way he's losing his job.
Tournament with Martinez.
I think it's, if they win it, we say it over and over again. If they win it, it's in spite of Roberto Martinez. It's the strength of the player pool. You know what I mean?
But one thing I'll agree with you with this. People often put the blame of Portugal being bad in the Euros because of Roberto Martinez. Well, because of Cristiano Ronaldo. It's not the case. Roberto Martinez is more to blame than João Félix, than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes.
Who subbed off Vitinha early?
I know.
Who put Francisco Conceição playing on the left when you should know he's only playing on the right at a high level?
Who gave Diogo Jota only 90 minutes of football?
Exactly. That should not be the case. And Rafael Leão subbed off early when he's got the potential to be the best player for us. So people that blame João Félix, you don't know ball.
No.
Roberto Martinez,
it's not his
now's the time. Now he's being madly judged because there are other managers that could coach us. And I'm going to say the name. It's a popular name in Portugal. Imagine Portugal being coached by Sérgio Conceição, leaving Porto, going to Portugal, coaching his son Francisco Conceição. One thing I can guarantee you, passion would be guaranteed. Work rate off ball. That man would have the courage to say, Ronaldo, this game, no. This game, no. And with Roberto Martinez, I'm skeptical if he can do the same with Cristiano Ronaldo. So people, it's sad. And it's not just João Félix, Cristiano. Where was Bernardo Silva?
Right.
Where was Bruno Fernandes?
Right.
Bruno Fernandes had a terrific World Cup, but I didn't see him perform the same level in the Euros. I love these players. It saddens me that I got to say this, but it's the truth. Premier League winner Bernardo Silva 4 times in a row. With Portugal, you do not see the same. You simply do not. It's sad. Man of the match with Turkey, we play great football.
Yeah.
Did we play great football the rest of the games? We didn't play like Spain and Germany. And it's because of Bruno, Bernardo, Cristiano, the people who should score the goals, not doing just that and not being with the same output as the Spanish, Germans, the other players. Because Fabian Ruiz is playing better than Bernardo and Bruno.
But a lot of what you're seeing there, as we talk about those that I'm calling it like negative football. It's not negative football. It's just kind of dull.
We should do more.
You see the 3 heavy favorites are the ones that we're having this conversation about, whereas Spain and Germany went into this with expectations to do well, but no explicit expectations to get incredibly far. And I feel like there you have guard is down, play more of yourself, right? And we didn't see that. We felt like more often than not, whether it was a Portuguese player, whether it was a French player, whether it was an English player, they were taking that safe way out, and we need to get out of that rut.
Bruno Fernandes and Cristiano Ronaldo together, stats-wise, 1 goal, 1 assist.
It's not.
These are the people who scored the goals. No. You look at Lamine Yamal, he's got 3 assists. You look at Xavi Simons, 3 assists. You see players that are having a higher output. Cody Gakpo, like he's playing so well, and he's being that reference. So I want to see a Portuguese reference in the World Cup 2026.
Make
could
it happen.
Be Vitinha, could be Rafael Leão, could be João Neves. I need to see something happen. Or João Félix picking the right club next and having an excellent career that we all think it can happen because he's got that talent.
Yes.
But it's positive. I want to end Portugal talk on a positive. Portugal, positive in Euro 2024 was to see Diogo Costa having an historic game. First goalkeeper to not suffer a goal when he goes to penalties in a game in Euros and World Cup. Chico Sessão having a goal, Nuno Mendes being one of the best left backs in the tournament, Vitinha one of the best midfielders. Talent, value, experience. We will be better in the next competition because the youth learned from experienced players like Cristiano Ronaldo and Pep. Rui Patricio, third goalkeeper too, he's there. So we've got to learn from this because we've got a golden generation coming with us. Yeah. So yes, players like Bernardo, Bruno, hopefully they're in the team of the tournament of the World Cup, because in the Euros, for sure, that will not be the case. And for sure, I'll not be not going bold too. Okay, I'm going to keep my hair this time around, okay? Maybe if a Portuguese team wins the Champions League, maybe I'll have to have to go bold. But yes, let us know down below your thoughts about Portugal. Like this video for more content just like this. And thank you for listening until now. Copa América. Copa América, though, Brett, and Canada are in the semi-finals in their first ever Copa América.
It has been a virtual slugfest over there. So even though we have a problem with the ticket prices, we have a problem with the attendance figures. They're
not playing at home, Canada.
It's been a knockdown, drag-out fight in the Copa América. Canada Jesse Marsch getting his statement win, not even a month or two into his first international duty, when Greg Berhalter has been on the job for 6 years or so, and couldn't get a statement win. Yeah, 6 games. There you go. So it is a testament to having a plan. It is a testament to Canada's expectations probably being a little bit lower, but feeling positive about shocking the world. We forget that they have Alphonso Davies. They have Jonathan David. They have Eustaquio, who plays very, very well, especially in this setup and when he's healthy.
Eustaquio goes to the MLS, one of the best midfielders.
Probably, yeah. And then he's got some MLS stalwarts, including Moise Bombito, who's been phenomenal at defense. Jacob Schaffelberg, who always is a pest. And he's been phenomenal for them. And there is a ceiling here. There is a ceiling. But go for it. And that's what Jesse Marsch said. He said at the end of the game, he goes, we could play our absolute best game against Argentina, against Messi, and we likely still will come up short. But guess what? We're going to go for it. And you got to enjoy that type of, feel.
And he represents the nation rightly.
He does.
He represents Canada in a way.
An American, yep.
An American representing Canada. Look, I'm Portuguese and it's Roberto Martinez, a Spanish manager. And Jesse Marsch is representing and giving some proudness to these Canadian fans, because that's what they needed. They needed to see their star players grabbing the moment, having the right tactics. Jesse Marsch, in terms of international managers in Copa América, for me, he's one of the best. He's not better than Bielsa.
No.
But Jesse Marsch is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Well, so seeing that the U.S. men's national team could have had him, I just have to say it, mate.
You might even find that he is just uniquely ready. Still early, but uniquely ready for international management. Whereas in the club game, yes, he failed with Leeds United. He failed with RB Leipzig. He did well with RB Salzburg. Very well.
He had a good moment, though, with Leeds, too. And with Salzburg, he did have had a good moment, too.
He was in MLS, too. And it went okay for him. But Jesse Marsch is a man manager. He has a plan. It's relentless pressing. It works in the international game up to a certain point and can get you pretty far. So Canada, I have no doubt that they're not going to get blown out by Argentina. And I have a feeling that they're going to take them, and they're going to take them. I think we're going to find that Leo Messi is injured, and that he is potentially either he's going to try and play, which we know Messi's going to do,
he's
right?
Going to try and play, yeah.
Because he was virtually non-existent in their semifinal. But back to Canada. Venezuela in this game also deserves some love. Solomon Rondon, 3 goals, 1 assist, I believe, in the tournament. They have a wonderful, wonderful future ahead of them. To be honest, I thought they were the heavy favorites in this scrap against Canada, but Canada played better on the day. Canada wanted it more. So congratulations to our friends up north on their win. I only wish it was us doing it, not you. But this is healthy jealousy. Is a good thing. I want you to do well because you are our last hope when it comes to CONCACAF doing well in Copa America. It's the U.S. and Mexico at the bottom of the heap. Panama right there in front of us. And Canada on top. Who would have thought? Not me. Not me.
The U.S. Federation now is getting real heat because the chances of getting
boys.
Jesse Marsch and Bielsa, they were real. And they were chosen utter wise. Let us know what are you thinking about Canada against Argentina. I think Argentina is going to go through.
I do too.
And there's what you say, PSA, public service announcement.
Public service announcement.
It's straight to penalties. There's no extra time. Okay,
and
people?
that's what we saw. Canada, Venezuela, we saw that. And we saw that on the other side of the bracket, too.
And talking Brazil, expectations. Not surprised about Brazil because since 2022, 6 wins in 18 games. It's not Dorival's fault. It's not Neymar's fault. It was not Tite's fault before. If you see the huddle of the Brazilian players before the penalty shootout, Dorival was not even allowed to be in the middle of the huddle.
He's barely even been in the job.
This is mad. Brazil needs a proper coach. They need a Portuguese man. They need a Jorge Jesus. They need an Abel Ferreira. They need an Ancelotti. They need a manager that is not Brazilian. Jose Mourinho. Why didn't they consider Jose Mourinho? Ancelotti this, not Mourinho. They need someone that will say to Neymar, that will say to Vinicius, that will say to Rodrigo, you're going to play the way you have to play to win, not how you want to. Because it's not European football. No, it's not Brazilian football they're playing. They're playing European football, and that's not what Brazil needs right now. That's not what Brazil needs right now. Copa América, Brazil, 4 games, Breton,
yes.
1 win.
One win. We need to remember the precarious situation they're in qualifying as well. This isn't a new situation here. Midfield's horrible. Great individual players. Terrible as a unit. I don't think I'm wrong about that. That's forwards. Not too far off the bait. Yeah, and we saw Endrick get his first start of the tournament here. 17-year-old.
4 games, 0 goals, 0 assists.
Yeah, but here's what Colombia wound up doing, right? They wound up being physical with Endrick. True. And Endrick's a beast. Like he can take it. He's got the mentality, but he is a 17-year-old taking hacks left and right. They needed the manager. They needed the referee to actually intervene in this scenario. But in the end, that particular strategy. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Colombia versus Brazil. I'm talking about Uruguay. Ronaldo Araujo is the one that laid it into Endrick, right? And was defended.
But
Rafinha stood back, incredibly physical. Both sets were physical.
But Uruguay more.
And the game. Very clearly, same tactic. Same tactic. Be physical. It was weird that Uruguay, it felt a little bit like they were playing for the penalties. And in the end, that's exactly what wound up happening. And that is where Sergio Rocher, I believe is his name, wound up getting things done. But Brazil played 20 minutes at least, a man up.
Yep.
Ronaldo Araujo was out within the first 15 minutes of the game. And not the red card. He was injured. So you're talking about best defender and then being a man up for Brazil. And they still couldn't get it done. It's disjointed. Somebody needs to come in and I'm not going to say clean house necessarily, but there needs to be a new approach or give Dorival his time. No. But it is just...
I wouldn't give Dorival his time. Yeah, seeing how the players are reacting to Dorival, the players are the A side right now, and I don't think it's going to be around. Brazil is out of touch. It's the first time ever in my lifetime that I confidently feel Brazil is much weaker than Portugal. Much weaker than Portugal, and the midfield is a big reason because of that. Douglas Luiz, Bruno Guimarães, Andrés Pereira, they were so much of a step down to the Uruguayan midfielders. Yeah. Nicolas de la Cruz, playing in Flamengo, playing in the Brazilian league, was better than any midfielder of Brazil. True. That plays in the Premier League, plays God knows where, but they don't have the same level for the national team. It's clear. Put Brazilian players that play in Brazil if they have more passion. Right. I don't care. But the truth is, I said it, Brazil is out of touch because Brazil is playing European football and they're not playing their own style of play that, let's be honest, Neymar, when he retires, he could retire as the last true Brazilian showmaker. Right. With the Ginga, because they're not used to now wonder kids playing Copa Libertadores final, like Marcelo Bielsa said, rightfully so. If you're a star at 17, 18 in South America, you go to the Premier League and to the top leagues. And it's not the opposite anymore. Right. Neymar was the last one to stay until the age of 20 at Santos and then going to Europe. You won't see Estevão happening. Nope. You don't see Hendrik already at Real Madrid. And you will not see other wonder kids that will be showing before the age of 18 playing in Copa Libertadores final until the age of 20. It's going to be a rarity.
It is. I mean, this extends not just from Brazil. This extends to all of CONMEBOL, right?
But Kendrick Paez getting... But Uruguay less, though, because you'd see
true.
like Valverde, Peñarol until maybe a later stage. Ronaldo, he went early, but you see it less with
Right.
Uruguayan players.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's something to track. It's something to watch, and it's definitely it is a worrying sign. I mean, Paul Marish, they can't even keep a wonder kid in camp for too long, and yet
Vitor Reis now, good center back.
and yet Abel Ferreira still figures out how to win, right?
Exactly.
But when we're looking at this, Uruguay for me, it is a European-based player that has been the man of the tournament for them. It is Manu Ugarte.
Love him.
And not only did he once again help Nico de la Cruz win that midfield, right? He also scored the game-winning penalty,
True.
right? So it was nice to see him get that type of moment in the sunshine because, yeah, I really do rate him.
Mm-hmm.
Rate him highly. I remember watching him at, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, Famalicão?
Famalicão.
Okay. It's not that hard. I don't know why. Whatever. It's not Besiktas. But he was phenomenal there, made the step up off the PSG, and I know it's been kind of a flip of a coin for him there,
Well,
heads or tails. But if Uruguay goes on and they play Argentina in the final, which is who I think is going to be in the final, obviously it's going to have to be Ugarte. It's going to have to be Betancourt. It's going to have to be that midfield winning the day, and that's really, really difficult to do. That's why I think Colombia is going to be the team
I
in the
think
final.
Argentina is going to go to the final,
Yeah.
but the true final is Colombia versus Uruguay.
It is.
Completely, okay?
is.
Because Colombia are unbeaten 27 games and the best player in Copa America. I have no doubts with what I saw yesterday too. James Rodriguez, the
amazing.
true 10.
Amazing.
James Rodriguez, 1 goal, 5 assists, 4 games, 4 man of the matches, completely deserved. He's going to end his career at Colombia in style because I think Uruguay, Colombia is very 50-50 people, okay? That just shows, I wanted to state that he's going to be the player of the tournament, but if James Rodriguez is the player of the tournament, he has to win it.
Yeah,
And
it is.
Uruguay, Copa America is a physical tournament for what we've seen, and nobody in Copa America plays more physical football than a team with Ronaldo Araújo, with Valverde, with Bentancur, with Ugarte, with Darwin. Just look at him.
I know. I know.
Look at him, a unit. So Uruguay are my favorites to win it. So I'm gonna
Even
say,
without Ronaldo?
even without Ronaldo, I'm gonna say they have a
Depends on
Loco
how
Bielsa.
Yeah.
They have what it takes to win it. So I'll go Uruguay, winning Copa America in the final with Argentina, playing this physical football, and Valverde maybe being the player of the tournament. Valverde, Ugarte, next 10 years of Uruguay, they're set.
They are set. They are set. And they've got some other young guys coming through. But I still feel like Colombia is the team of destiny. Luis Diaz he's had a phenomenal tournament, and James Rodriguez is taking all that spotlight, which I think is great for Luis Diaz.
True.
Because he's just operating the way he needs to operate. He doesn't need to have the whole, team on his back in this particular scenario.
We
And
thought
he's
that was going to
getting it.
happen.
Yes. And James Rodriguez is one of those memes, right now, where for a club he's down here, for the national team, man, he's still got it. James Rodriguez has still got it, and one of those assists was just absolutely beautiful. Now, Colombia, hold on, let me just back up 1 second. Greg Berhalter, that's how you beat Panama. Okay? You beat them to the ball. You play physical, which we used to have teams that would play uber physical. I'm not sure why we stopped playing physical, but Greg Berhalter, that's how you beat Panama. Okay? Thank you. Luis Diaz with his chip. James Rodriguez, was it 2 or 3 assists? I'm not
2
sure.
assists.
But he's now got
And a goal.
5 assists in this tournament. He likely is the leader for Golden Ball.
Yep.
He's definitely a front runner well beyond Leo Messi, who has been kind of limping along in this particular tournament. But it's not just him. It's
Daniel
not just
Munoz.
James. It's Daniel Munoz. It's Jefferson Lerma.
Cordoba.
It's Richard Rios had a solid goal. He's a 22-year-old.
Palmeiras.
They haven't even had to lean on their young bucks up top. Yasser Asprilla, Jean Duran. They haven't gotten too much time in this tournament. Why? Because this team gets each other. And it's about time that they get their statement Copa America win. So Colombia, for me, feels like a team of destiny. And 27 unbeaten games.
They win Copa
heading into
America.
the semifinal.
It's 29.
I know. You know who else was going into a tournament with an unbeaten until they lost to Saudi Arabia? Yeah,
but they lost at the first game.
Exactly, which was the best thing to happen to them in that tournament.
And Colombia might lose it in the last game to who? To Argentina. That would be a bit poetic. Yeah, look what we just did there.
Yeah,
that would be a beginning of a novel.
There we go.
No, but people, let us know, what are you thinking for Copa America? Your score predictions, player of the tournament. Will it be James Rodriguez? Will it be Federico Valverde, or will it be Lionel Messi injured, the player of the tournament? Because yes, he is limping, as you mentioned.
As long as he's breathing, he's still in contention. So
let us know down below and like this video for more videos just like this. And yes, last topic, transfers, because they're heating up. Pascal Grob is leaving Brighton. Saddens us, because we love to see Premier League football with Pascal Grob, but he's going to a good place with Nuri Sahin with Dortmund.
Yep.
It makes sense. So what does Brighton do? They get the best replacement possible for a player which is a Swiss Army knife that can play every position with Pascal Grob. They get who?
Mats Wiefer. For
30 million off Feyenoord. A player
steal.
That is a bargain. Future player that will be for the Dutch national team in the next 10 years. Because he can do it all. He's so unselfish. He's so good.
Wiefer, Carlos Baleba, and apparently now they're going with an all-African attack. Now, João Pedro is going to have his say. But they've got Yankuba Minte, who was absolutely stellar in the Eredivisie. Was on loan from, with Feyenoord, that's right.
So Mats Wiefer.
Yeah. And then up.
Verbruggen in goal.
Verbruggen in goal, yep. And I wasn't waxing poetic enough about who I think Carlos Baleba will be this season. I think Baleba and Wiefer will have a stellar partnership in the midfield for them. But I am most excited about this attack because you've got Simon Adingra, who's already there, and they've signed FC Nordsjælland product Ibrahim Osman, who's also going to be there. Winger, can play up top, and then yes, you've got Yankuba Minte. While I don't appreciate the price of Yankuba Minte,
30 million. I think for what he did for Feyenoord, though.
It's too soon. Too soon to tell for one season, but he is an amazing product. So Brighton very clearly has a plan, which makes me think, Alex, Roberto De Zerbi, I thought, left because he was unhappy with them not ready to commit some capital. They've already committed 85 million euros
it's just,
to
I think
incoming.
The players he wanted maybe were more experienced players, and what they're going with Mats Wiefer. We know Mats Wiefer.
Yep.
I'm not saying that Zerbi doesn't know about him, but like if he's saying those types of comments, he clearly didn't trust the structure that they had in plan.
Where was Arne Slot, by the way? Where was Liverpool in this? Why is he not seen as somebody, even as cover? Somebody that 30 million is cheap for a player as good as Mats Wiefer.
Exactly, because we see Mats Wiefer as a player that can stay at Brighton for the next 5 to 6 years.
Could. He's not going to, but he could.
You reckon he can go even?
I mean, unless Brighton levels up, right? Which they're attempting to do. They are attempting to do. I mean, you can't fault Tony Bloom for lack of ambition in any way, shape, or form. He is going forward. He's not afraid to spend. But they've also spent quite a bit. Remember, no Europe this season for Brighton. So this is a big commitment.
Chelsea got it, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited once again about Brighton. I'm excited
James
once
Milner
again.
now as a coach there involved.
Who knows?
A good project. It can go very right. My prediction with Brighton for next season, fantasy Premier League players all put Bart Verbruggen, because Bart Verbruggen is going to have a big season for Brighton.
Nice.
That we all know now. He's the first goalkeeper of Brighton.
Yes.
Last season, there was kind of doubt. So
there was.
Let's wait and see. And a team. Brighton is always 100% good on transfers. We might have a summer transfer window, Brighton, in which we're stating Man United had a good transfer window, because if they're signing De Ligt, I see De Ligt, and I think De Ligt, I'm inspired by this view. I think De Ligt is going to go to Man United, join with Erik ten Hag, because Man United now has a structure. Yeah. If they're selling Donny van de Beek for 500,000 to Girona, it's because they're saying the salary is too much. We do not want to have this player in the locker room. We need the right structure, stability to get to consistency.
So sell him to Guardiola's brother.
Sell him to Girona.
I know.
Create good relationships with Girona, even though they're City Group led. Business is business.
Exit had to happen.
Omar Berrada knows that they couldn't have Donny van de Beek on the books, and he's gone. So Omar Berrada will be the big reason of this remontada of Man United. Facilities better, Erik Ten Hag better with Ruud van Nistelrooy next to him. More trust in the locker room. Signing a player like De Ligt that makes sense because he knows the manager. They need a center back. And I think we're going to be much happier with the sense. It's going to make everything will make a lot more sense with Man United because they have a man on the helm that knows business in football. Business in football.
Yeah, and you've got the development of Mainu. You've got Garnacho, I guess, hasn't had much to do in the Copa America just yet.
Rasmus Højlund hasn't been the best.
Maybe next season we see the emergence of a Shea Lacey. There's more in that stable. We know that for sure. It is just a matter of them making multiple correct decisions and not just one. But yes, a fire sale of those that are holding you back monetarily does make a whole lot of sense.
Amad Diallo could be the next big man too next season.
He could be, or he could also be another one that they just let go.
My big doubt is Rashford and Sancho.
Right.
What will happen with Rashford and Sancho at Man United?
What will happen?
You don't think it will?
What will happen? I don't know. It's flip of a coin at this moment.
I think Sancho will be sold. Because Erik Ten Hag staying, it's a stance towards Sancho not being there. And if you look at the right, like Garnacho, Amad Diallo, they have options too. So it's going to be a tough decision, but it's definitely, if we're talking transfers, a decision that will be done. Let us know down below what you think will happen with Sancho and Rashford. I think Rashford stays. Sancho, I think, will leave.
Yeah. Well,
great end of the season with Dortmund.
Well, the silly season's just picking up. Last one I wanted to throw out there, and I know it's very short-lived. But anyone that watches the Belgian Pro League, I've been a big fan of Anderlecht's Zeno de Bast for some time now. And for Sporting to get him for just under 20, I know probably what this means is an Ousmane Diamande exit, a Gonzalo Inacio.
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Said he's leaving. So imagine, Diamande and Inacio could stay.
But that trio, and I'd even throw Eduardo, I know he's 24, 25 now, but Eduardo Quaresma in this
he's
big.
Still under 23.
That depth of defensive youth is bonkers to me. So Ousmane Diamande, you've got Gonzalo Inacio, you've got Eduardo Quaresma, who's still there, and now you have Zeno de Bast, 20 years old, was starting for Belgium. Yep, he
plays with 3 at the back. That's going to be ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I know what my stack and so rare is going to be.
Ruben Amorim, a young manager with this young core of center backs in football.
Under 20.
Mad. Inacio's development with Ruben Amorim is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen with Sporting.
Well, I hope it happens with the Bast.
I hope.
Because Belgium needs it.
3 starts with the under 23. Ruben says, no. He plays with us. That wouldn't have happened in the past. And now more than 160 games played for Sporting at the age of 22.
On the flip side, before I put it over to you, what do you think about Benfica's Pavlidis? Yeah.
Great sign.
Under 20 as well.
Great
Under
signing.
20 million as well. Goal hound in the Eredivisie. You think it will translate?
I think he will translate. I think Pavlidis is a better player coming to Benfica than Artur Cabral, than the other strikers, Casper Tengsted for sure. And I think Marcos Leonardo is the player that will go against Pavlidis in terms of starts for Benfica. Was I surprised to see another striker coming to Benfica when they spent the amount of money they did to replace the Darwin? Look, no. Because, the Benfica spends money when they have to. But still, it's poor management, in my opinion, from Benfica. And I'm very curious to see the next season with Roger Schmidt. Because let's be honest, if Benfica doesn't win next season, Roger Schmidt is out. No surprise that I'm saying this.
Yes.
And players like Pavlidis, players like Rafa that's leaving, players like Di Maria that could be leaving, that could be the big difference in conversations that people have. Yeah. And I hope to see a great Portuguese league with Ruben Amorim staring Sporting again to good consistency and good football. But big question marks with, obviously, Roger Schmidt's second season. Yeah. And Conceição is not at Porto anymore. There was so many years watching Porto with Sérgio Conceição. And Pep he's going to be leaving the Portuguese league. So the Portuguese league will be very different. Transfers that have happened now. Rafa has left. Kovac has announced he's leaving. Pep has announced he's leaving. It's going to be a different league, mates, and I'm ready for it. So Ruben Amorim, Vitor, Bruno, the assistant coach, former assistant coach of Sérgio Conceição, now main coach, and Roger Schmidt could have the chance to silence everyone in Portugal, because there's big doubts here about his continuity.
There you go. There you go.
My last transfer would be Renato Veiga, surprising going to Chelsea. If you don't know about him, he's a wonder kid that was at Sporting, didn't work out at Sporting. Then he goes to Basel, and now at Basel he has a terrific season in terms of passing. He's an athlete. I know his parents are both athletes, one in martial arts. Yes, and I can tell you, Renato Veiga is the definition of an athlete. Off the pitch, he does everything he has to do. Nutrition. He's the proper player to lead a locker room with Chelsea in the future. Renato Veiga. Chelsea fans that might think he will not play any minutes, he will tell you otherwise. He will know his place in that team.
Yeah, and he was in a tough environment at Basel. At Sporting, but then at Basel, because Basel were in the relegation zone for a while, and they needed consistency. They needed that type of mental fortitude to get out of it, because it's not a position they're used to.
True.
Basel eventually did get out. They did not get relegated. I don't think they did a Lyon rise to the top into European football by the end, but they did very well, and a lot of that did come down to Veiga. So that's a good one.
And Desiree Doué could be going to Bayern Munich.
He needs a move.
And Bretton's warned you guys. Yeah. He's one of the best young wingers in football.
One thing I'm going to be prioritizing from here on out are players that play positive football, right? Desiree Doué is one of those players. Against the grain these days.
What do you mean with positive football?
Not afraid to take somebody on.
Got you.
Right? Somebody that's always looking for, in some respects, a way to embarrass their defender, right?
Got you.
An entertainer in some respects. Some flair, right?
Happy playing football.
Happy playing football. Feels like it's less strategy, less probability, less risk.
He's that guy.
What's the word? Risk avoidance. Risk avoidance is what I'm thinking about. I want. You need some of these players in there. We got them a couple years ago with like Rayon Cherki, right? But they didn't pan out. They haven't panned out. Still young. Jadon Sancho at BVB, of course. But here now we have this emergence of these wingers, and I hope they do not lose it. Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams, Desiree Doué is not a winger per se, but can play out there. He's very similar in that capacity. William Estevo, exactly. He just needs to grow a little bit, because I feel like he might get broken somewhere.
And Arda Güler and Kendry Paez are players.
We need arrogance.
That have that arrogance too. That take those risks when players are screaming at them. Saying,
so that's what I mean by positive. It just feels positive, right?
Yes.
I want his poster on my wall, and not somebody that's being a risk avoidance merchant. If that's a thing.
It makes sense, because you often put the poster on the wall to the player that brings you things that you were not expecting to see.
Correct. And Desiree Doué could be that. And Bayern would be a good place for them, because they need to change things around, and that would be a solid choice for Vincent Kompany.
Matisse Tell with Desiree Doué? With Michael Olise?
Yeah.
This new French core?
Oh, gosh. Have any of those happened yet, though? We need them actually over the line. I'll tell you one that is over the line right now that I really do like. Is that over the line yet?
Over the line. Well, Fabrizio at least said. Here we go.
Okay.
So you might not be wrong on this one.
You might not be. All right. But the one I'm looking at is a little under the table. Anyone that watched the second Bundesliga or even the first Bundesliga last season knows this name. It's Can Uzan, 18 years old. Nuremberg did not get the ability to get back up, promoted back into the Bundesliga. But this kid at 18 years old had 18 goals. Right? And it was a killer season for him. I think he was also their penalty taker. Him and Nathaniel Brown are both going to be for Eintracht Frankfurt next season. Bring him in for $11 million, and guess what? He's part of that Turkish future as well. I think there might need to be a little more convincing on their end, but Can Uzan, Kenan Yildiz, Arda Güler, Sami Kiliksoy,
Ferdi
Kadioglu, even though he's ancient compared to them age-wise. We've said it before that we can now say it with convincing effect. The Turkish future is real.
They could go to a semi-final in the next 12 years.
Yes.
Of a big competition.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, some would argue that it was only a 10-minute letdown that kept them from doing it.
And with Demiral and Koksu, they could be in the semifinals. So
we will see. But Can Uzan, going into the Bundesliga, he will get time next season, and Eintracht Frankfurt are trying to get back to the top of the table, where they were 2 years ago. But
people,
near the top.
What a podcast it's been. Thank you, Mirage. Thank you, Breton. This has been fantastic. Enjoy the view, people. Enjoy the view, because this is Portugal. It's beautiful. And if you're listening until now, thank you so much for going bold with us. Comment down below a transfer that you think will happen, a Copa America prediction in the final, and a Euro final too. And what's next for Portugal? Let us know down below. And yes, people, thank you so much for listening until now.
And signing off. Whatever you do, don't visit Portugal. No, just kidding. I'll tell you what, this time, guys, I brought my family. The flies are back. I brought my family. My family are obsessed with this place. It's been beautiful. It's been fun.
And they still haven't seen a Sporting or a Benfica game.
No, next time. And there will be a next time, they say. And I'll tell you what, don't ever trust the weather here. It says it's going to be, quote, unquote, bad weather. And then this is bad weather, everybody. Here, this is it. That's bad weather. But no, it's been wonderful being here. We hope to make it at least a yearly thing. And now I got to go home to 100-degree weather to watch the semifinals. But we got to get back into football. Where we go. There we go.
Champions League will be back, and FC Wonderkid will be stronger than ever. Thank you for listening until now, and thank you for going bold with us.